Stop me if this sounds fake. In the exact same year, 1889, the Eiffel Tower was finished in Paris, and a small card company called Nintendo opened its doors in Japan. Yes, that Nintendo. Mario and the Eiffel Tower are the exact same age. Welcome to the 1880s, the single weirdest decade in human history. It was the bridge between the old world of cowboys and candlelight and the new world of electricity and serial killers. In just 10 years, we saw the loudest sound ever recorded on Earth, the most famous gunfight in the Wild West, and a corporate war between geniuses that ended with an electrocuted elephant. This wasn't just a decade. It was the moment humanity discovered modern technology and realized we had absolutely no idea how to control it. Welcome to the 1880s. Let's start with the loudest noise in recorded history. August 27th, 1883. The island of Krakatoa in Indonesia didn't just erupt. It deleted itself. The explosion was so violent that sailors 40 miles away didn't just hear it. Their eardrums instantly ruptured. People heard the bang clearly in Alice Springs, Australia, and on the island of Rodriguez near Africa. That is 3,000 miles away. That is like standing in New York City and hearing a noise from London. The shockwaves circled the planet 4 times. For the next year, the entire world saw blood red and purple sunsets because of the ash in the stratosphere. In fact, art historians believe the famous screaming red sky in Edvard Munch's painting The Scream wasn't a metaphor. He was just painting what the sky actually looked like in the 1880s. While the sky was turning purple, 2 very different kinds of violence were happening on opposite sides of the world. In 1881, in a dusty lot in Tombstone, Arizona, the Earp brothers and Doc Holliday walked into the OK Corral. Pop culture tells us this was an epic, drawn-out battle. The reality? It lasted 30 seconds. 30 seconds, 30 shots, and 3 dead men. It was over before the dust even settled. The Wild West was both chaotic and unforgiving. But across the ocean, in London, violence was becoming performative. In 1888, the Whitechapel district was terrorized by Jack the Ripper. This wasn't just a murder spree, it was the birth of the serial killer media circus. For the first time, newspapers realized that fear sells. They published graphic letters supposedly written by the killer. They printed maps of the bodies. The 1880s gave us the first celebrity monster, a killer who was never caught, simply because he knew how to play the press better than the police. But the scariest thing in the 1880s wasn't a volcano or a killer. It was a light bulb. The decade was defined by the war of currents. In one corner, Thomas Edison pushing direct current. In the other, Nikola Tesla pushing alternating current. This wasn't a friendly debate, it was a street fight. Edison knew Tesla's AC power was better for long distances, so he decided to prove it was dangerous. How? By publicly electrocuting stray dogs, horses, and eventually, an elephant named Topsy. This PR stunt led directly to the invention of the electric chair in 1890. The first execution was supposed to be humane. It wasn't. It took 2 attempts and left the room smelling of burnt meat. The 1880s proved that if you give humans a life-changing miracle, like electricity, the first thing we'll do is figure out how to kill each other with it. And that brings us back to Paris, 1889, the year the Eiffel Tower was finished, a giant metal spike declaring that the future had arrived. And the same year, Fusajiro Yamauchi founded Nintendo to sell playing cards in Kyoto. The 1880s wasn't just a list of events, it was a decade where the timeline compressed. A cowboy could read a newspaper about Jack the Ripper by electric light, while the sky outside was purple from a volcano that exploded 3,000 miles away. The 1880s didn't just change the world, it broke it and rebuilt it into the amazing one we live in today.